Shalom. I greet you. I wish you a happy Purim, and I'd like to tell you a short story referring to events reminding us of the events of Purim as we read about them in the book of Esther. As you know, in the book of Esther, it was very important that Mordechai had a direct contact to Esther, and via Esther or through Esther, Mordechai was able to communicate directly to the king of Persia or of the Persian Empire, Ahasuerus. Well, in modern times we had a similar situation, and the Purim story of the book of Esther is reminding us of that situation. As we know, in 1948, David Ben-Gurion was about to proclaim the independence of the State of Israel. We also remember that this was after, on the 29th of November 1947, the United Nations passed the famous resolution about the division, the partition of the territory called Palestine or Eretz Israel between the Jews and the Arabs. And following that, David Ben-Gurion intended to proclaim the independence of the Jewish state of Israel in May 1948. For this purpose, of course, it was very important that the United States will recognize the newly proclaimed state. For that purpose, it was thought that best would be that Dr. Chaim Weizmann, who would become the first president of the State of Israel and was a very famous person, he was the head of the Zionist World Organization, that he should go and meet and talk to the President of the United States at the time, that was Harry Truman. But in the spring of 1948, the State Department of the United States was strictly and strongly against a recognition of the State of Israel if it is going to be proclaimed. It was not the first time that the State Department of the United States was not very fond of Jewish matters. But we had to do it. So there was an effort made to contact the White House to arrange a meeting between Dr. Chaim Weizmann and the President of the United States, Harry Truman. But the reply was, there will be no such meeting. That was, of course, a big problem. So the team of Dr. Chaim Weizmann was looking and contacted Jewish communities in the United States, trying to find maybe there is a person who knows Harry Truman and there can be some bridging effort to communicate with him. And they found somebody. They found Mr. Jacobson. Mr. Jacobson happened to grow in Kansas. And in Kansas, he happened to go to school with a very young fellow pupil who was Harry Truman. They finished school together. They went together to the United States Army. They joined the Army. They served together in the First World War, became very good friends. Therefore, when the war was over, when the war was over, they decided to open a business and to do it together. So they opened a shoe business. But sadly enough, the business was not going very well. They decided to stop the operation, and each one of them went to his own way. Okay, so Mr. Jacobson switched. Instead of selling shoes, he sold clothing. And Mr. Harry Truman, instead of selling shoes, started to sell and market his political opinions, which he did very successfully. As we know, he became the President of the United States. So the team of Chaim Weizmann asked that Mr. Jacobson please should contact the President and ask for a meeting for Dr. Chaim Weizmann. Jacobson, of course, phoned immediately the White House, told the team there, listen, I'm Jacobson and I'm a friend of the President. Harry knows me. My name is Jacobson. The team was quite astonished about this unusual contact, but of course they had to inform the President. They told the President, Mr. President, there is some person called Jacobson. He wants to talk to you. He would like to visit you. He would like to come tomorrow and see you. The President replied, Jacobson, of course, anytime. This is a very dear person to me. Anytime he wants, he may come. So, next day, Mr. Jacobson appeared and entered the Oval Office. The moment that Harry Truman saw him, he was greeting him with open arms and a big smile. So the assistant saw that everything is okay, and she went to her office and closed politely the door behind herself. The moment the door was open, Harry Truman told Jacobson, listen, Jacobson, you can talk to me about anything you want, except for Israel. You can talk to me about everything, but we don't talk about Israel. Jacobson was shocked, sat down on the couch, the famous couch in the Oval Office, was looking at the wall, saw on the wall a very big, beautiful painting, started to cry, really to cry. He was trembling in his cry. So Harry went to him, put his arm on his shoulder, and told him, Jacobson, what happened? Why are you crying? Jacobson told him, I see this picture here. So Truman told him, you see the picture on the wall? This is no reason to cry. What happened to you, Jacobson? I'm Harry Truman. So Jacobson told him, I understand that this is probably a very important person painted over there. Harry Truman told him, an important person? This is Andrew Jackson. This is the person. This is Andrew Jackson. I admire him. He is my idol. Jacobson was crying. And he was asking Truman again, so you say to me that this person here painted on the wall, that he is so important to you? And Harry Truman told him, Jacobson, I've just told you, this is the person for me. I admire him. I adore him. This is my idol. This is Andrew Jackson. You understand? So Jacobson turned his head from the painting, looked at Harry Truman, looked straight to his eyes, and told him, Harry, please, Dr. Chaim Weizmann is my Andrew Jackson. I beg you, please meet my Andrew Jackson. This is Dr. Chaim Weizmann. Talk to him, grant him 5 minutes, that's all I ask you. As we know, the end of the story. Harry Truman accepted, gave Chaim Weizmann the 5 minutes, and as we know, President Harry Truman of the United States of America was the very first president of any state to recognize the proclaimed State of Israel just minutes after the State of Israel was proclaimed by David Ben-Gurion on the 14th of May, 1948. As we see, similar to the story of the book of Esther, it was very important to have a direct contact to the government of the state in order to handle matters which are very important, which are vital for the Jewish nation. So, with this story, I'd like to wish you a very happy and peaceful Purim holiday, and I send you warm greetings from the sunny Israel. Shalom, shalom, and Purim Sameach. Thank you.